We just had a viewer call in, and our producer came and told us what they asked on the phone. He didn't really know if we could answer it, but we're going to try and take it live on air for that viewer right now. She said she called in and she asked, she has squatters illegally staying in her vacant house. How does she handle that or get them out of there?
You know, that's something that comes up, and we see, unfortunately, we've seen it a lot more here locally than we have in the past with some of the things that have been going on with the housing shortage. James, what kind of situation, how do you deal with that when, you know, it's not, you don't have a lease, so it's not an eviction, so what kind of cause of action do you have to take care of something like that?
Under the law, and a lot of folks get this mistaken, is it's not an eviction, it's called an ejectment. And what it's based on, and without going too far off the reservation here, it's possession. This individual has possession of real property without authorization. So there's no lease, there's no sale, it's just a common squatter. Well, under the law, you have to go to the court, you have to say, hey, I want this individual ejected. And that ejectment action removes the possession, removes their possession of that real property. It is not an eviction. Eviction is a much different animal. It's much more streamlined. It's much more efficient, to be quite frank with you, cause of action. An ejectment can take time. The court systems are backed up right now. So it can take much more time than an eviction. It's much more burdensome for the plaintiff or the property owner. It was interesting because in South Walton, all those beautiful houses that were left vacant after the foreclosure crisis in the late 2000s had squatters in them. I've dealt with a number of cases, probably in the double digits of squatters, where the deputies come out, couldn't do anything. Wow. They were just there. They had possession of the property. So you'd have to go to the courthouse, and the plaintiff would have to hire attorneys and start an ejectment action. And it could take months, if not years. I knew of one that took almost 2 years to get somebody out of there because they had possession. Right. Yeah.
What just being in the house gives them possession of the property, or is that a more complicated question than that?
Yeah, you have the trespassing issue as well.
Yeah.
So that was one of the angles we would try and take. But if we had someone who was, in fact, I came across one that a fellow attorney of mine used to call a professional squatter down in South Walton County. He would go take his family to house to house to house and think he paid the taxes on it and could stay there. Anyway, we would get law enforcement involved, and they'd say, look, sorry, it's a civil matter. He says he paid the taxes, even though he was a squatter, even though he was there, he's done.
Well, and you'll find in that arena there are several people that know the law as well as the lawyers with respect, like James said, with the professional squatter. So it can, you know, there's a lot of statutes that deal with these types of situations when you get into the eviction and the ejectment arena. So there are forms that you can do them yourselves, but I would highly recommend hiring somebody like James or another lawyer to help you with that, because it can be a very, very difficult process to navigate on your own, because there are a lot of statutes that protect people that are being that you're trying to remove from the property.